Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's debate. In nowadays, many people are focused on education, and we have to decide the right answer per student. So we strongly agree with this motion that this has prohibited any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. And we the government side have three arguments that can support our team's argument. Our team states so strongly. First, students depend on private institution, and second, it can give bad influence to students, and third, it's unnecessary. And I will do in this debate. First, I will define some teachers and our team state. And second, I will say about our team's first two arguments. Last, I will summary today what have I told like my first two arguments. Now, before I present our team's first two case, I will say about motion that any private institution intend to teach students beyond their school curriculum is set, with the government team think it is similar as academy, and with the government team state is also should be banned. Should allow this motion so strongly. Now let's move on to government team's first case that they don't attention in their school's curriculum. Okay, let's discuss. They did not listen to school's education. Nowadays, students go to many academy like English, maths, and they also know about more information and by prestige education, so they don't earn attention in school education. Do you think this is the right situation? No, that is not. Okay, we run basic education in school, and teacher teach the hard for us. If students sleep or don't listen to their teacher's class, it can be immoral. It is same as ignore teachers' patient, and we can get basic information by school, but and if we get basic information, we can solve no, thank you, ma'am. We can solve difficult problem. So we think that this motion should be allowed. And let's move on to government team's second case that it can give bad influence to students. Okay, why it is bad influence? Although they can learn many things like math or higher education. No, thank you, ma'am. And yes, we the government sides also agree that, but to all students can understand that answer is probably no, and it is same as waste. And our team's next speaker will say that this exactly. Back to my argument, I will give one more question to you indirectly. Do you like to go academic? The answer is exactly no. They give a lot of homework and they get stressed. Purpose that have to ban this motion is it is good educational way, but there are also opposite impact. They don't attention that it is wrong to purpose. They can do study by themselves, but they depend, and they also depend on academic or institution, so it can cause bad influence. And also, like before I said, we can get basic information by academic, by school, but how? Why we have allowed this? Why we have to ban this motion? There are any reason. Ladies and gentlemen, what have I told about? First, students depend on private institution, and second, it can give bad influence to students. If you want our students' bright future, we must allow this motion. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we agree that these private institutions have risen greatly. In fact, students actually depend on these things. But we, the opposition, think that is a great thing. Throughout the debate, we will explain this specifically again. So we, the opposition team, will prove that by passing this motion, it will increase the harms, but increase the harms that will overwhelm the benefits. So it's a horrible choice to pass this motion. So even if this motion will be implemented to the society, we think that it wouldn't work anyway. So let me just get on to my two points that the Prime Minister gave to us. Firstly, he said something about that the students depend on these academies and they didn't listen to the school's education and whatever. But we think that this is not true because actually students go to academies to boost the schools up. So even if they don't, they know all the stuff, then it will be actually good for the school education, because since they know all the school stuff, they will have concentrate on the class by participating on the class, such as having questions about the teachers, etc. And also, if they know all the information about this topic, then the students will be able to have a great score on the test, and etc. Also, she said something about in his second argument about the bad influence. He said something about the stress of academies, etc. But we really disagree with this, because it was their choice to go to academies, even if the parents forced the students to go to academies and whatever. But we think that the students and the parents actually engage with each other to go to agree to go to the academies. So we think that it's their choice to go to these academies, so it wouldn't have a bad influence on the students. So let me get on to my team split. Firstly, I, as the leader of opposition, will give you two arguments about the freedom of choice and the benefits, and our great deputy leader of opposition will give you the last argument about practicality. So let me get on to my first argument. Firstly, my first argument is about the freedom of choice. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have the freedom of choice about education. That's why we're going to academies, to support my weak sports and my choice, which is my choice. Every citizen in the society has the right to do so. Mr. and Madam Speaker, these students want to go to private institutions. If they do, why should the government stop them? These students are trying to raise the possibility in education and increase their knowledge. This is obviously a good benefit to the society, as I will explain later in my second argument. If the government banned the academies to stop studying ahead, which is also by their choice, then that is losing their immense benefit. Therefore, we think that is not reasonable to forbid private institutions.
Hi, Romeo.
No, thank you. Secondly, it's about the benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, if the government forbade the private institutions, the government is letting go of this great chance to boost the economy up. Just fly away. Ladies and gentlemen, when we do these private institutions, then the students will be able to get more knowledge and information about this topic, and therefore increase their knowledge, which is very helpful to the society. If they have more knowledge, then they will be able to contribute more to the society, and therefore the society will be able to develop more, and this is a huge benefit to the government. If the society boosts this, then the society will develop commensally, and therefore which is a big benefit to the society. Ladies and gentlemen, we had two arguments from now on, which is about the freedom of choice and the benefits. When the end of this debate is, we think that the opposition team truly won this debate.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Almost of students go private institution. Private institution is studying not at school in different places. There are many advantages that we can study more and we can get lots of knowledges, but there are many disadvantages too. We can study more, but there will be more homework and students get stressed. Ladies and gentlemen, under the motion, this House would forbid any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum, and we, the government team, strongly believe that this motion should be passed. Before moving on to today's debate, I will rebut the Leader of Opposition presented. Leader of Opposition presented two arguments. First, it is related to freedom of choice, and second, it is related to benefits. First, Leader of Opposition presented the freedom of choice. But we, the government team, strongly disagree with this argument, because no one wants to go private institution. Students should study the way that students want, and she presented arguments related to benefits. No, thank you, ma'am. She said we can get more knowledge and good score, but we agree with that we can get more knowledge, but we think that there will be more homework and we can get stressed. No, thank you, ma'am. Moving Moving on to today's debate, our Prime Minister presented two arguments, and I will present our last argument. Our last argument is related to it's unnecessary. We think private institution is unnecessary. If we concentrate and study well in schools, we don't need to study in a private institution. We strongly believe that it is waste of time and waste of money. It is people's greed. As Prime Minister presented, students get stressed, and if we think the word private institution, we can think the word homework the first, and we can get stressed. Well, thank you, ma'am. Why should we and students get stressed because of needless, unnecessary things that private institution? Well, thank you, ma'am. We also can study at our home ourselves, and why should we waste time and waste money? Today, the government team has presented three arguments for you today. First, it is related to that students depend on private institution, and second, it can give bad influence, and third, it's unnecessary. Ladies and gentlemen, under the motion, this House forbid any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. We, the government team, strongly believe that this motion should be passed, and also we strongly believe that we should forbid any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school. Thank you.
Mr. and Madam Speaker, we strongly believe for the bright future, students have right to learn what they want to learn about private institution. Due to the government policy, they are interfering the students' rights to learn what they want. Ladies and gentlemen, they question us even though there are so many homeworks or tasks. Will you want to go to the academy? Mr. and Madam Speaker, we strongly believe even though now students get lots of stress, however, we are preventing the students lots of stress when they first study about, for example, high school math as a high school students, because it's too difficult, and the gap between the high school, middle school subjects and the high school subject is too big. So we are preventing this stress, and we believe this was most efficient than banning the private institution, Mr. and Madam Speaker. So we believe that now education curriculum is the gap is too big, and the reason why there is private institution is because of the problem of education curriculum. So we believe that is not efficient, ladies and gentlemen. So our last argument is about the practicality, Mr. and Madam Speaker. Mr. and Madam Speaker, now status quo, like they said, private education, we agree that even though children are like young age, they start private education, basically math or English. We agree that now status quo, average children have institutions very young age. Sometimes they get stressed, Mr. and Madam Speaker. However, if the government implements this policy, this will not work well, Mr. and Madam Speaker. In Korea, we already implement to ban this private institution. However, there are no changes, Mr. and Madam Speaker. This shows that if government implements this bans private institution, is impossible because first, the Korea education curriculum problem, which have big gap between elementary school, middle school, or high school curriculum, and also there are so many subjects to study on. So we believe this will not work because it's impossible to not go any private institutions and learn more because everything rapidly become advanced due to like high school and middle school, and we believe private education is just a tool that helps students to survive or stay in our now status quo education curriculum, Mr. and Madam Speaker. So we strongly believe this is private education just give like more harms and this is not as inefficient, but we believe that now even though now the private institutions give some stress, we are preventing the students get more stress as yes.
Does education that have with stress can be efficient to students?
Can you say one more time?
How the opposition team can sure with education way that with student stress is efficient.
We always told us this private institution is preventing the students get stress after high school or middle school, and this help survive in education curriculum. So if government wants to ban this institution, now status quo education should be changed. And the reason why there is private institution is because the problem of education curriculum. So we strongly believe this is impossible to solve the problem of private institution. And I'm very proud of it. Thank you.
And nowadays, the private institution have so many arguments. Like some people said that it can give stress or it can be not their choice, and someone said that it is their freedom of choice. But under the motion, this House would forbid any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. With the government team covers 3 points. Before I move to opposition team's argument, I will summarize our team's argument first. Our team's first argument is about students depend on private institution because students do not concentrate in school's curriculum because they think they know all about it. And their second argument, our team's second argument is about it can give bad influence to students because the students can get stressed by homework or test. And our team's third argument is about our team's third argument is about it's unnecessary because it can waste time and waste money because we can get same education we can get same information same education in schools too. But our team think we don't have to take time and give some money to the private institution. And I'll move to opposition team's argument. Their first argument is about freedom of choice, and they said we have to no thank you ma'am. They said we have some the freedom of education, and they said the student can want to go and we can increase the knowledge, but our team disagree with this argument. Our team agrees the freedom of choice, but our team disagree that there are some details. They said we can want to go. The student can want to go the academy, but our team think it can be only the parents or people's greed. Then students should not be allowed that. And our team's second, their opposition team's second argument is about benefits. They said society will be developed more than when they go to private institutions.
Why?
No, thank you, ma'am. Then we have got many knowledge. But our team also disagree with this motion because the school is basic level to study, and this means it is most important part of learning. And also in schools we can learn as more as academy. And their team, the opposition team's third argument is about practicality, and they give some example to Korea education. The Korean education, but our team think this motion also should be not passed because the Korean we get same we can get some same education with we can get same education with academy and schools. And also the teacher will prepare for their class, And also, this is basic level. Basic education is most important part of learning. Under the motion, this House will forbid any private institutions intend to teach students beyond their school curriculum. We, the government team, think this motion should be passed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. and Madam Speakers. Today we are here to debate under the motion, this House would forbid any private institutions intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. I am the opposition whip, and I will be presenting 3 clashes on why we, the opposition team, clearly won this debate. Our first clash is about the choice. In our first argument, we clearly stated that it's the students and the parents' choice to go to the academy. But the opposition team stated that students won't want to go to the academies because there are many homework and blah blah blah. But we think that that is not true. That is not true. That is not true. As I stated before, it is a students' and parents' choice, and it's the students' and parents' choice. And students have the right to learn what they want to learn. And the government doesn't have the right to interfere in a person's personal life as long as it doesn't cause any direct harm to the society, and this doesn't cause any direct harm to the society. Actually, that is wrong. Yes.
And also, how the opposition side can ensure student want to go academic.
We said even though that is true, we said the government doesn't have the right to interfere in their personal life. So their point doesn't stand, and we absolutely take this clash. On to my second clash. My second clash is about harms and benefits. The government team stated that there are many harms in private institutions, such as not focusing in school educations. But as we stated in our rebuttals, the reason why students go to academies is to get good scores in school tests. So the situation the government team is mentioning is not going to happen. Actually, they're in a fantasy dream world. Actually, there are only benefits in not implementing this policy. As we stated before, there's the boom of the economy and development of the society. There is actually no harms in private institutions and only benefits. So we, the opposition team, take this clash also. Now I will go on to my third clash. My third clash is about practicality. The so-called harms the government team gave, which we already rebutted that, but by this argument we can double rebut that. If we implement this policy, well, even though there are many harms, the situation only gets worse. As we stated before, if we implement their policy, the situation will get worse because the students will get private tutoring instead of going to any private institutions. The government team stated in their definition that institutions is only about academies. So this is the situation which is actually going to happen if we implement this policy. The government didn't clearly rebut any point about this argument, so we believe that our point still stands. Today, I presented you 3 clashes about the freedom of choice in harms and benefits and practicality. So today, under the motion, this House would forbid any private institutions intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. I, as the opposition whip, I am very proud to oppose.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're debating under the motion, this House would forbid any private institutions intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum, and I'm the opposition reply speaker. Well, today, we the opposition team's burden to prove was that there will be more harms than benefits if we pass today's motion, and their burden to prove was that there are many harms in status quo, so we should pass today's motion. Also, what our team is mainly talking about today was that government should guarantee the students' freedoms, and there will be more harms. Also, what the government was mainly talking about today was the necessity of the private institutions. But we found out some wrong points given by the government team, so today I opposition reply speaker will point out some of them. In the beginning of the debate, he said that all of the students definitely don't want to go to these private institutions, but we believe that they're just assuming that students absolutely don't want to go to academy, and but we believe that there can be some of the students who want to have more knowledge through these private institutions. Also, their third argument was about that we don't need these private institutions and it's a waste of time and money. But also because in the school they teach same informations. But we believe that they're not engaging to our point, which is about we are trying to prevent the shocks of the students caused by the huge gap between the schools. Also, we found out some contradicting points given by government team. Today's motion, they came up here to pass today's motion, which is about forbidding this private institution, and the Deputy Prime Minister said that we should let the students to study in the way they want. But we think this is an ironic point because passing today's motion is getting rid of some choices of studying of students' way of studying. Also, we the government team believe that our team's three arguments has been stronger because our team's first argument was of the freedom of choice, and our team's second argument was about the benefits, and our team's third argument was about the practicality. Our team also believes that the government team didn't fully give the reasoning why the education in school is more important than the education in private institutions, while our opposition team has fully proven the reasons why private institution is as important as the education in schools. So we believe that our opposition team has provided three wonderful arguments with the clear rebuttals, but the government team has provided the three arguments with unclear rebuttals. So we believe that under this motion, this House would forbid any private institution intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum. We, the opposition, are proud to oppose.
Yes.
Under the motion, this House forbids any private institutions intended to teach students beyond their school curriculum, and we, the government team, strongly believe that this motion should be passed. We, the government, has three arguments. First is many students depend on private institutions because curriculum of school is basic level to study. However, they think they depend on private institutions, so they think they know all of study. So they don't propose to school education. And second is it can give bad influence because school like academy get more homework, a lot of homework, so it can be stress. Third is private institutions is unnecessary because we can study in the school basically, so it becomes waste of a lot of time and money. Most opposition arguments, there are three too. First is about freedom of choice because students want to go to academy, so they have freedom of choice about to education. Second is about benefit of private institutions. We can get more information and we can have to develop society. Third is about practicality. For example, Korea curriculum. However, we the government think we should win to this debate because we do
we can help to develop a society